Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to do a sealed deck for Kaldheim. We have our 6 booster packs here and we're going to open these up, build the deck, and then later on we'll be playing the 2 sealed decks that I have built against each other as well as against some of the challenge decks. But we'll just start here and open these packs up and see what's inside. Breakneck Berserker, Warhorn Blast, Brian Barrow Intruder, Horizon Seeker, Coma's Faithful, Roots of Wisdom, Steinheim Courser, Smashing Success, Infernal Pet, Mistwalker, Rune of Mortality, Rootless Yew, Svella Ice Shaper, All-Ruined God of the Cosmos, a Snow-Covered Island, and a Treasure Token. We have Cinderheart Giant, Doomscar Oracle, the Pilfering Hawk, Coma's Faithful, Icehide Troll, Sculptor of Winter, Shackles of Treachery, Raven Form, Bound in Gold, Agar the Freezing Flame, Kull the Forge Master, Surtland Frostpire, Waking the Trolls, Snow-Covered Mountain, Hailstorm Valkyrie, and a tip card. Alright, then we have a Fearless Pup, Story Seeker, Undersea Invader, Priest of the Haunted Edge, Jaspera Sentinel, Struggle for Skemfar, Funeral Longboat, Ravenous Lindworm, Behold the Multiverse, Revitalize, Turgrid's Shadow, Nico Defies Destiny, Poison the Cup, Search for Glory, Sulphurous Mire, and a bird token. Now we have a Mists of Littjara, Hagimob, Master Scald, Disdainful Stroke, Knotfold Recluse, Deathnell Berserker, Augury Raven, Codespell Cleric, another Funeral Longboat, another Sculptor of Winter, Dwarven Hammer, Ingaroon Eyes, the Runed Crown, Kolvori God of Kinship, a Snow-Covered Forest, and a ad card. We have a Craven Hulk, Battlefield Raptor, Bergstrider, Seize the Spoils, Village Rites, Guardian Gladewalker, Vault Robber, Iron Verdict, Dogged Pursuit, Colossal Plow, Boreal Outrider, Frost Augur, Mystic Reflection, Alpine Meadow, Burning Rune Demon, and a Double Face Helper card. We have a Run Amok, Wings of the Cosmos, Draugr Thought Thief, Tuscary Firewalker, Icehide Troll, Draugr Recruiter, Shackles of Treachery, Elderleaf Mentor, Bound in Gold, Frenzied Raider, Vengeful Reaper, a Bredegard Stronghold, Sorrowf Realm Eater, Snow-Covered Island, and a ad card. Alright, we have 2 gods here and more than 1 mythic, so there's a lot of things that we're going to have to look at here. We also have a little bit of fixing in some snow lands, but not a lot, and so these snow lands are actually going to matter a bit on whether or not we can play certain types of strategies here. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we are being aware of those as we move along. So let's go ahead and do our little color breakdown. White gets us Bound in Gold, which is a pretty good removal spell. Wings of the Cosmos is a less good combat trick. Iron Verdict, I guess, is an okay removal spell, but not something that I'm excited to play. Battlefield Raptor can be okay if it can carry the right items or weapons. I don't know if we have those, so we'll put this here unless we can get some runes. We have a Code Spell Cleric, which is okay if we're playing it with things like foretell cards, but I'm not sure that that's there, so we'll put it over here. Master's Called is a artifact or enchantment card, so this is really dependent on whether or not I have those. Then we have a Search for Glory, which is probably not what I'm trying to do. It is definitely a snow specific card, and I doubt that it's going to work in a sealed deck, but we'll keep an eye on it in case we have a lot of snow in white and we want to play white. Revitalize, not terribly useful, I think, unless something really synergizes with it. Story Seeker, I guess, could be okay. Like the Battlefield Raptor, it needs to be able to carry some sort of pump to it to make it good. We have another Bound in Gold, glad to see that. Doomscar Oracle, I think that's okay. It has this cast a second spell effect going on that I think I'm going to put it next to the Code Spell Cleric, and maybe these will work if the right deck comes along. We have Starnheim Courser, which cares about artifacts and enchantments. This goes with the Master Scald, and only if that works does this work. The Warhorn Blast is a pump spell for your team. I don't know how much we're going to want that. It really depends if we can go wide or not. So we'll put this back here, and we'll consider it if that day should come. So white doesn't seem that strong. I do like the Bounding Golds, but I think it's really more of a supporting color if we can just get the right other archetype added to it. And if we're playing white, we have Nico Defies Destiny for some Foretell synergy, as well as the Alpine Meadow and the Coal Forge Master. This is another enchanted or equipped card, and so we have to have enchantments or equipments. It's not really in white, and so we'd have to be in another color, and I think Runed Crown is the only other equipment that we have here, and that cares about runes. Don't know if we have any other runes, so we'll see what we can get. Take a look at blue next. Blue gets us a Raven form, which is not an amazing removal spell, especially because the creature that leaves the opponent that we're targeting with it will still have a 1/1 blue flying creature token, which is not a great thing to do. We're not looking to play this if we can avoid it. Draugr Thought Thief, I guess, is okay. You can mess with your opponent's top deck if you need to, but not an amazing card either. The Mystic Reflection is a rare, and what does this do? Choose a target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures would enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature. Okay, so I think this is only good if you have ways of playing some really cheap things that are strong and you have a lot of mana. I guess you can foretell it, so that's one way to get by with it, but I don't know that this is going to be something that I'm going to want to play unless I have some way of getting some really cheap creatures that would be upgraded if they enter the battlefield that way. So we'll put this in the back for now. Frost Augur, only good if we have a lot of snow generating capacity, and we're going to care about blue here. We have 2 islands, so it's not the worst, but it's not amazing. I'm definitely not looking forward to play this card, but we might play it if the rest of the snow comes around. So we will hold on to this as a snow card. Burst Rider, also a snow card, but the 4/4 for 5 body is reasonable. Inga Rune-Eyes can be okay. I don't love this card, but I think it has the potential to be a decent 23rd card, something like that, if it works out that way. The dies trigger is probably not going to be happening as much. So we have the Augury Raven, which I think is okay. It's a 3/3 that you can foretell and break the cost up, and I think that's pretty good. So I like that alongside the Bird Strider if we can get snow going. We do have 2 snow covered islands, but we don't have any other snow mana sources, so it really depends if we can get any more of those. And if not, then the snow plan is kind of going to fall apart. Disdainful Stroke, probably a sideboard card at best. We have Miss Lijara, is like a bad removal card. I don't want to play it, but sometimes you just need removal even if it's bad. I like Behold the Multiverse, a way of drawing some extra cards and scrying. It seems really strong, so we will hold on to this as a good play. Undersea Invader, I guess if you need a big butt, it is a way to have that big butt. Not exciting, but I could play it. Allround God of the Cosmos is one of the gods that we have. It is a 1/1 for 5 mana. It gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand and each foretold card you own in exile. At the beginning of the end step, choose a card type and then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type into your hand and the rest into the bottom of your library. So this is really just a card draw effect. You're rarely going to have this be a little bit more than that, and that might be good enough. On the back we have Hawkeye Whispering Raven, which is a 2/3 flyer, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you can return it to its owner's hand and scry 2. I guess this is a way for this to do some defense and then bounce it back to my hand, scry, and then, I don't know, recast it as a 2/2 or turn it into Allround. I guess this is how you are supposed to get more cards in your hand on Allround side. I think that this is strong, and it just really makes me want to play blue, but I'm not sure if it's quite good enough that it's something that I actually want to play. So we'll consider it, but I don't know, feel that good about it. Pilfering Hawk, again, a snow payoff. Not an amazing payoff, but I guess a looter is okay. Definitely less interested in that than the Frost Augur. We have a Mistwalker, I think, which is a pretty good changeling. It morphs into what you kind of need it to be at any given time. So I like that, alongside the Augury Raven. And the Brine Barrow Intruder, I think, is okay. It's really just a combat trick with a little body attached to it. And I might play it, but it really just depends on what the deck is going for. So here we go. We have Allrune, which is like the biggest draw to play this card in my deck. I like the flyers, and then if I can get snow going, I think blue is a pretty strong color. But if I can't, I don't know that a lot of these cards are gonna do a lot for me. And so I'm very tempted to play blue. I don't know if I'm actually going to. In addition to blue, we have the Nico Defies Destiny again. Here we have the Surtland Frostpire if we play with red, and Agar the Freezing Flame, which is pretty good in a Giants deck. And then we're going to look at black. Alright, first we have Vengeful Reaper. I think this is a pretty cool card, very capable of playing both defense and offense. So I like this one. Draugr Recruiter can be okay. It can pull some stuff back from the graveyard to my hand, so not amazing, but I think especially if you have things that you want to pull back. We have the Burning Rune Demon, which is a 6/6 flyer, and then you can search your card for 2 cards, and then your opponent gets to choose one of them. That goes to your hand, the other goes to the library. If you have a lot of strong cards, this is a pretty good way to draw one of them. And so, especially if you can get something back from the graveyard into your hand, then it's even better. And I am inclined to want to try to play it just as a big beater that can get you a little bit of card advantage. So inclined to play it, but not certain. Dogged Pursuit, probably not going to play that unless I can get a really aggro deck going. Village of Rites, again, another card that I don't really want to play unless I can get some sack stuff going. Deathnell Berserker is actually a card that I could see myself playing with, like a Village of Rites or something, and then getting the value off of, but I need a way to make it stronger. Poison Cup, excellent removal spell. Happy to play this anytime. Turgid's Shadow is a reasonable removal spell. Not something I'm going to want to necessarily play, but it could see the deck just because it is a good value in terms of being able to remove 2 of my opponent's creatures. Priest of the Haunted Edge, we need snow lands for this to be good. We don't even have any snow swamps, so this is almost certainly not going to see any play. Hailstorm Valkyrie. This is a 2/2 for 4 with flying and trample. It can get stronger with snow, but again, we need a lot of snow for this to work, and we don't have any swamps that are snow, so it's unlikely we're going to have enough snow in this deck. Coma's Faithful, I guess this is okay. The self-mill part may work with the cards that care about things being in the graveyard. I don't know that we have much that cares about it though, so this is not a very high priority here. Rune of Mortality is pretty strong. Giving something Death Touch and getting us another card, or putting on equipment and doing that, is really strong. We don't have any equipment, but if we did, even if we don't, I think it would be something that we're definitely playing. Infernal Pet, I don't know how much I want to play this. This is the second spell thing. It plays well with white, but I don't know if that's what we're doing here. So we'll put this at the back here, and only if we get the right cards are we going to be playing this, and then another Coma's Faithful. I think black has a lot of potential. We have some really strong cards here. It's a good removal, and the ceiling is pretty good for black, but the base of black is a little bit on the skinny side, so I don't know how much I want to play it. We also, with black, get access to Sulphurous Mine, which is just okay. And then we also have access to Sarulf Realm Eater, which is a pretty strong green and black card. So maybe that's where I'm going to be going. We'll see. Now let's take a look at red. We have the Frenzied Raider, which is I guess okay if you got a lot of boasts going on. Otherwise, it's just a 2/2. You know, happy to play that, especially in a deck that is doing a lot of boasting. Shackles of Treachery is probably not what I'm going to be doing, unless I can use this with like Black's Sacrifice effect. Scary Firewalker can get you a little bit of card advantage. It is a boaster. There is something to do here. I think Run Amok will work okay as a combat trick with some of these attackers, especially the boasters. The Vault Robber, I don't know how much I like this. It's kind of slow. We'll have to see if there is something that takes advantage of its abilities. Seize the Spoils, again, something that is a little bit on the slow side, and it is card filtering. I don't know how well I feel about that, but we could theoretically play it. Craven Hulk, don't want to play this, but sometimes you just need a 4/4 attacker, and that's what this is. So very low on the totem pole here. Dwarven Hammer is a pretty strong card. I do like this quite a bit. It hits pretty hard, and you can even create a 2/2 with, or a 2/1 with it already attached if you spend a little extra mana. So I'm happy to play that. Hacking Mop can be okay. It is a boaster. It does play with some of these mechanics, but I don't know how much I like it. Feeler's Pup I think can be a little better, but it is kind of mana intensive. So it really just depends on whether the rest of the deck shapes out to like it. The Shackles, I don't know if I play 1. I'm certainly not playing 2. We have Cinderheart Giant, which is a big beater, but is very expensive. And really, you need to have the right kind of deck, probably some kind of Giants deck for this to see play here. So we'll put it back here. Smash to Smithereens is a sideboard card, 100%. And Breakneck Berserker is probably the most basic card that I have here, but I think it works. I think red is a reasonable color, but not a strong one. And so it really is a support color and needs to be meshed with the right deck. I don't think we have enough Giants for it to go with blue, even though we have Agar the Freezing Flame here and Surtland Frostfire. And so we're kind of stuck trying to figure out what it would go with. It's also a little skinny in terms of the total number of card count here. Now for green. This probably has the thickest card count. We have an Elderleaf Mentor, which is fine. It's 2 bodies for the price of 1. Icehide Troll, this is not great unless you have multiple force. We only have 1, and so not really interested in playing this, especially since I don't know if I have any other green sources of snow mana. So that's not that good. Boreal Outrider, again, cares about snow, and sealed decks don't do that too well. Guardian Gladewalker is not bad. It can do quite a bit. We have Kolvari, God of Kinship. It's a 2/4 God. As long as you control 3 or more legendary creatures, it gets +4/+2 and has Vigilance. Look at the top 6 and you get legendary stuff. Not very good. Let's see if the other side is any better. Let's see. When it enters, choose a creature type. You can tap to add mana of the chosen creature type or legendary spell. So it's kind of like a bad ramper. I don't know how much I am interested in Kolvari now that I look at what he does, as much as I wanted to play the gods that I had opened. We have Sculptor Winter, which could be really good in a deck that cares about snow. I think this only works if we play it with the islands with blue. And so a blue-green deck, I think we have 3 snowlands here. It could work, but it's still not terribly exciting because the snow payoff isn't, we just don't have enough snow mana sources. We have Notfold Recluse, which is just a D card. I might play that if I have to. Ravenous Litworm, I think is pretty good. It can stabilize. It's not amazing. I would consider playing it just because it's there. This is a removal spell, so I like that. Foretells, I like that, and it also adds a counter. So this is a pretty decent removal spell. Would probably play it almost certainly in any green deck. Despair Sentinel, I'm not sure about this. You really need to have extra creatures that you can tap to accelerate. And I'm not sure that that's amazing, but maybe. I think it's something to consider. And then a Sculptor, this is more of a draft card. Another Icehide Troll, definitely not interested in that. Ruleless You will get a big creature. Only matters if you have a lot of big creatures to get. So, green is not looking that good right now. We have the Roots of Wisdom, which is an elf-specific card. I'm not sure that I'm going to be playing that either. And then the Horizon Seeker, which is a boaster. Probably one of the better creatures in this entire set of green cards. So we have a lot of green, but there's not a lot in the actual cards here that work out well, especially because of the dependency on snow. Now with these 3 snowlands, is it possible that maybe I can get something going with the snow theme? Maybe, but I think it's really risky, and you know, I'd have to pair it with blue just to make sure I get even more snowlands in these 3, and I don't think that's enough. And so I'm kind of stuck trying to figure out what is a good combination here. Now if I go black and green, I do get Sorrel the Realm Leader, which is a pretty strong card. It grows as my opponent's creatures go to the graveyard, so that's pretty strong. We have Bredegaard Stronghold in white and green. That is probably not going to get played because I don't think green is that strong. Elsewhere in green, if we match it with red, we also get Svella the Ice Shaper, which I think is a reasonable card. It does let us create artifacts that can generate snow, so there is a way of doing snow here. Then Waken the Trolls can be pretty good. You can make a bunch of trolls as long as you can accelerate your land a little bit better. So I'm not 100% certain that this is what we really want to do, but it is a consideration here. So we don't really have the right cards to make a white and red deck work, so that's just out altogether. Blue and green might work, but we don't have enough snowlands, and so that also kind of makes that out. We don't have a ton of Boast, but I'm kind of interested in a black and red deck, even though we don't have a lot of payoffs for it. We're mostly looking at Burning Rune Demon. It's possible that Alrune, God of the Cosmos, may be worth playing, and it might be worth trying to do blue. I'm not certain of that either. So this is, yeah, a bit of a pickle in terms of what I'm supposed to be playing. So I want to do the snow combo, but really with just 3 snow sources in the forests and islands, I don't think it's going to be enough for that deck to work. Like, I'm just going to be stuck waiting and hoping that one of these shows up. And the double snow colored cards aren't even going to work at all. So I think that that is out. So snow is out as a mechanic altogether, right? So I cannot really consider that. So am I going to consider maybe playing a blue and other color? That means we can go with white for Nico Defies Destiny. I don't think that white is strong enough to warrant that. We can try to go into giants or non-creature spells with red and blue, but we don't have any red removal, and so that's kind of limiting what we want to do there as well. Perhaps what we're trying to do that might be even better is just lean into the boasting and then play black and red. That'll be my first deck that I'm going to try out here. So this is short 1 card. I guess we could throw in a Ruined Crown to grab like the 1 rune that I have and bring it back in and make this the deck. It's not amazing. There is a little bit of synergy in the Village Rites with the Shackles. The only way that we would play the Shackles is probably this particular form. And then we have a bit of aggression and a little bit of top end. I'm not sure what the Burning Rune Demon is doing in terms of what it's searching for, except to just be a 6/6 flyer that will give us a card. And then I guess there is some potential here. The Boast mechanic is, I think, one of the mechanics that is specific to this deck, but it's not amazing here. So I think that we can turn to this if we need to, but I would rather try something with a little bit more potential power. Let's just go ahead and see if the snow deck will work. Yeah, I don't think this deck is going to work. It is just so limited in what it could potentially do. So I think we are going to pass on this deck. And I think that that pretty much means that we're going to be playing the black and red deck, because I don't think any of the other combinations really managed to pull off what it really wants to be doing. The only other potential one is red and green, but again, a lot of my green is just, there's a lot of snow cards, and we just don't have the right number of lands to make that work. So let's go right back to the black and red deck. So we have 14 black mana symbols and 12 red mana symbols. I think it's an even split is fine. We have these 2 snow covered lands, and so we just need to add 8 more black lands. So we have swamps and 7 more mountains to go with this, and that is our deck. I'll be back to build the second deck, and then we will be playing them together. You can check the description box for links to the deck builds and the gameplays, and let me know what your thoughts were about this deck build in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can hit subscribe. This was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.